welcome back. We are back. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I just noticed something this morning, which is pretty interesting. I'm sure you guys might have noticed this as well. But if we take a look at this, you guys won't be able to see that. Let me see if I can get it to move here. All right. Why is that showing? Hold on here a second. Why is that showing the wrong chart? Why is it showing the NQ? Hold on. Huh. Strange. Very strange. That thing on the top right says NQ, but that's not what's on my chart. I'm going to redo that here in a second. Maybe I'll just take it off, because that's showing the wrong thing. Oh, there we go. I think it's just bugged. 1 second. Fixing. User error. User error. Desi error. There we go. All right. There we go. All right, so you guys can see here, real quick morning read here. Look at the volume. Look at the volume. Look at that. Right? That's interesting. That is some low volume over the last few days. That's going to be interesting. That's something we got to watch. Even on the NASDAQ futures, we're getting some low volume here. So, yeah, it's going to get interesting here. We're getting that we're sort of in that we're in that chop zone right now, but this is expected because we're pushing higher. We had a big push higher, right, over the last week and a half, and we're pushing into some pretty major levels here on NASDAQ, and the volume is starting to decline. So as of right now, the trade has not been great, right? Over the last 3 days, we've been pretty much sideways, right? Pretty much sideways. We're in that chop zone. We're in that indecision mode. The market's remaining pretty balanced. So I'd assume, off at the back half of this sideways move, there's going to be something that's worth trading. All right, so we're going to have to be a little bit patient here. Markets are balanced. Last few days have been pretty choppy. And it makes sense, right? We'll talk through it. We'll talk through why the market's been sort of going sideways. It's starting to hit its head into some big levels. There's some, battle going on. That volume's decreasing. There's going to be a nice move off the back half of this. We'll have to see which direction it is. But as of right now, right, a little bit of patience, a little bit of, conserving your capital as the market really doesn't provide much of an opportunity. But I think there will be. It's just a matter of waiting this out a little bit. So we'll go over some of the levels as we always do. Welcome back, my friends. Hope you guys are enjoying your morning. Thanks for starting your morning with me. Day off was great. Lido, thank you, man. I took the old ride out for a little bit of a track type day. It was it was fun, man. The group that I'm in, the car group that I'm in, they rented out like this airstrip, and you could just go straight down as fast as you could get on it was about a mile airstrip, but you had to brake at about 3/4 of a mile, so you needed some time to brake, obviously. But yeah, good time, man. That was a good experience, and definitely worth it. So it felt weird not trading yesterday. I didn't take a single trade yesterday. That's the first time I haven't traded for a very long time. It didn't look like I took much, right? it didn't look like I missed much on the day. There was one nice trade of the day. And that was that little rejection from the NASDAQ highs. That was about it for the day. Then you just sort of ripped back higher. I was able to get to 143. That was my top speed. That was about as fast as I could get it. 143 before getting a little bit sketchy to make sure I had enough room to brake, man. My goal of yesterday was don't crash my car and walk away unharmed. So, yeah, that was my goal. I was a little scared, I'm not going to lie. It's a little sketchy, right? You think like, hey, I'm going to rip this thing, it's going to be crazy, but when you're starting to do it, it's a little sketchy, I'm not going to lie. It's the car felt great. The car is very well made for what it's doing, but my own mind just I'm not used to that speed, and it was a good first experience, and I know next time I take it out I'll have a little bit more confidence. So yeah, it was fun. But yeah, all right guys, let's get started. I was driving a Porsche GT3 991.2. Porsche GT3 991.2. It's very, very good. All right, let's get started, guys. So welcome back. Hope everyone's having a good morning. Hope everyone's had a good day yesterday. And yeah, here we go. So schedule. Let me get an updated schedule for us here. I know you guys love the schedule. So here it is. Bam. All right. So November 9th. Economic earnings calendar. We do have, yeah, your foot starts to shake. You just get a little like, oh, I probably should start stopping maybe. So we do have Jerome Powell speaking today, which is a little bit interesting, right? It's not like it's not like your FOMC or anything like that. But it is something that could have some effect on the market, I would say, right? Whenever Jerome Powell opens his mouth, you probably could see a little bit of volatility. So here's Thursday, and you can see right here, Jerome Powell speaking at 2:00 today at the IMF. So, am I going to be trading at 2:00 today? No, right? So do I really care about this? No, just because I don't trade at 2:00. But is this something you should be aware of if you're in swing trades, if you're in something later day? Absolutely. So 2:00 today, Jerome Powell speaking at the IMF. All right. This morning we have 8:30 jobless claims. We'll see if there's any movement off that. All right. That's about it for the economic calendar. The market may remain balanced until next week. And here's why, right? Why could the market remain balanced until next week? Because of this right here, right? Bam. CPI, PPI, right? Big. That's big. That's a market moving event typically. So, could the market stay pretty slow until end of week? Yeah, right? And that's something, right, we can't fight. I know this as a newer trader. You try to fight that. You try to take trades. You think there's always going to be that juicy trade, but it's something we can't fight, right? Over the last few days, we've seen that sideways action. There's been some good trades, like yesterday, Nvidia longs off previous day high was a gorgeous trade. As Chef said, what's up, Chef? The break and hold at 462 yesterday, awesome. I mean, just sexy. So there is still those individual trade setups that do present themselves on a daily basis. But the overall market, you got to be a little bit careful of what that overall market's doing, which is pretty sideways. CPI, PPI next week, something to be careful of. Is Nvidia on fire right now? Man, I love Nvidia, man. I love it. Oh, man, I just love Nvidia. How could you not? How could you not? Nvidia just has absolutely just put my entire long term on its back. I mean, pretty much just a beautiful thing. Let's do a little M1 check. Let's do a little M1 check, because the last week has been a really nice week for M1. So let's just do a little M1 check. Why not? Let's see what we're working with now. See what we've bought. I really don't even check this account, guys. That's how on autopilot I look at my long-term portfolio, which I really do. Trading aside, guys, I know I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here, but Trading aside, I really do recommend somehow, if you're young, like if you're in your 20s, your young 20s, maybe even in your teens, right? Find a way to get a long-term portfolio on autopilot. I can guarantee you when you're 60, when you're 70 years old, you're going to be very thankful that you made these decisions, right? You know, when you see, I have a buddy who's a financial planner, and you have these guys that are 60, 70 years old, you know, sitting on 4, 5, 6, $10 million in investment accounts. How did they get there, right? They didn't get there by, most of them didn't get there by just having one huge lump sum payment to them or through selling a business, something like that. A lot of them just consistently invested in the market, consistently put away money for themselves long term, right? I would love to be not working my ass off at 50 years old, 60 years old, right? I'd like to be able to sit on, a nice portfolio that I just slowly invested in over time. So, you know, I know the options game it's good, it's fun, right? We can make money, we can make those short-term gains, but please make sure in the background you have those long-term aspirations, because if I lose money on an options trade, right? I know, yesterday I made $428 in my long term, right? And there were days this week I made $5,600 in my long term portfolio, right? Up 6% this week in my long term portfolio. So, those types of gains, this quarter it's down, year to date up 26,000. So, right? This is important. This is money management. This is financial literacy. And I hope to try to teach that a little bit. But yeah, Nvidia, God, I love it. I love it so much. How's my Uber investment doing? It's doing pretty well, actually. Up 11%. Let's see. What did I buy? I bought Cat, AbbVie, and Apple. Cat, AbbVie, and Apple on Monday. Not bad. What did I buy last Monday? AbbVie, Uber, Home Depot, AMD, Cat, and Apple again. A lot of AMD there. That was a good buy. AMD at, holy shit, bought AMD at 96. Nice. All right, so that's a little update there. Let's get into the juicy stuff. I know what you guys are here for. So, earnings calendar. I think we have. What do we have? We got some shit stocks as usual. It's all the shit names that I like to call them. The stocks that I just am not interested. But yesterday we had AMC. Disney did pretty well, right? Disney did pretty well. Twilio, a firm yesterday. Today we have Unity Software, After Hours Trade Desk, which is an interesting one. Win. So a little bit of a casino there. This morning, Fiverr. I've used Fiverr once in a while. I wonder how they're doing, Fiverr. It's a pretty good service, I'd say. That's it. Really nothing that big. Maybe Trade Desk, Unity are interesting to watch. Disney yesterday. So let's continue. All right. So Tesla wedge. As of right now, I don't recommend trading Tesla. I think Tesla is in a bad area as a trader, as a short-term trader. It's been a little bit rough. It's been in this little tight wedge consolidation. However, I think outside of the wedge, there will be a trade. So something I'll talk about today, Nvidia 4-hour major level it's pushing up into. I don't know where it is right now because of this push. Okay, it's pushing right into this 4-hour level as we speak. So this could be interesting, something to watch. AMD holding 113, something to be watching today as well. Google in that gap fill. Very nice continuation on Google through this gap from earnings. Something to be cautious of. Meta 320. Microsoft has been a rocket ship. Something to be watching here. And then finally, Apple. Apple has broken that wedge or that downtrend. And it's holding the 100 SMA. So is this, right? I'm going to continue to bring this up on a weekly basis. A few weeks back, we said, are we going to look back at Apple and say, oh, that 200 SMA long was a really nice long opportunity? Is it still setting up? It could be, right? It absolutely could be something to be watching here. All right? We'll go through a few other names. We'll go through Amazon. We'll go over Disney. We'll go over a few other ones. So let's get started. Bam. All right. Nvidia, man. So hot. So here's the NASDAQ futures, guys. And this is sort of what I was talking about being just a little bit cautious because of some of the sideways action we've seen. But hey, look at this beautiful structure higher, right? This is the type of structure that you like to see in the market, right? This is a structure move, right? You can see upside consolidation, upside consolidation, upside consolidation. It's a very structured move for now, right? Which is nice to see. This is some clean stuff, right? We can very easily make out where the demand levels will be by the way the market is trading, right? Because we can see demand, right? We can see demand. We can see, I would assume, demand around this 260, right? We can sort of create these levels by the way the market's moving higher. It's a little difficult to create levels when you just go vertical, right? So a nice structure to the upside, and definitely something to be continuing to watch, right? So here's the NASDAQ. And in my mind, right, you do not want to short this NASDAQ at all until you break a previous pivot, right? That's really what my mind is trying to. Every day I come into the market, I want to make sure I have that mindset. I do not want to short this structure until a level is broken, right? So for me, I'm not going to want to short into this previous high that is now holding as a demand, right? That is 15,260. I do not want to short back into this previous high, which will probably hold as demand, right? So until we break something, this would be a break of something, right? Or this would be a break of something, right? Until we start to break this trend, this structure, you really don't want to fight this upside, guys, right? That's really the mindset that I would have for now. So are we approaching a major 4-hour supply? Yes, we are, right? If we go to this 4-hour chart on the NASDAQ, we are absolutely approaching a major 4-hour supply level, right? You can clearly see that. This is a major 4-hour high. What happened off this 4-hour high? Downside, big downside, right? 8% downside off this 4-hour high at 15,470. This is also a previous high right here, right? See this high? Look what happened after it rejected that high. Major downside, right? So you are definitely approaching a supply here. And is the long up here less attractive than it was maybe here, was here? Absolutely, right? The long is becoming less and less attractive. I think that's why you're seeing volume decrease. People are not, people that are understanding of the level we're at, of course, are not as interested in longing here as they were maybe on this push higher, right? This gets less attractive as you push into this supply level. So does that mean you're out here shorting this move? No, right? I don't think that's not what I want you to think I'm saying, right? Because some people take what I'm saying the wrong way, right? If I say a long is not attractive, they think that I'm saying you should short your entire portfolio. That's not what I'm saying, right? What I'm trying to get across is, hey, this is definitely a potential rejection point. It's a little bit, you should be cautious longing into it, but that does not mean, right? That does not mean that you should be shorting the hell out of this level, because the market has not shown you short opportunities anywhere, right? Not anywhere. There has been maybe 10, 15 minute downside opportunities on the market in the last week, maybe, right? Very rarely do you get an actual downside continuation. Everything is getting bought up. So do I think you short the hell out of this level? No, I don't think you do that. Is there a potential scalp there? Absolutely, right? Is there a potential scalp short? Absolutely. But that is going to be up to your own trading skill. That's not something I can help you with here, in advance. That's going to be you watching price action, understanding what's happening, and trying to take a scalp off this supply. So for me, right, the only way I'm trying to get aggressive on shorts is if we break under this previous high and create maybe somewhat of a head and shoulder formation. This is the only area that I would be interested in getting aggressive on shorts, because at this point you would break structure, you would create a potential rejection point at this previous high, and then you can probably start to see that weakness come in. If it's not under 15,260, I would be cautious shorting into this pretty strong move that we've been seeing, right? And you're pushing into supply. So is there potential rejections up here today? Yes, there is. There was yesterday. There is today as well. If you don't get this opportunity, right, to long, right, if we get a pullback to 260 and hold, I think that's a very interesting long opportunity, right? Of course, this is previous highs, pull back, hold that 260, nice long opportunity. If you don't get that opportunity to long back at 260, then really you're going to have to wait here until we get over the 470 level, right? You're going to have to wait till we get over that 470 level, and then you could try to set up that long. Because in my eyes, guys, right, and I'm just playing supply and demand, I don't think this amount of space is worth your risk to the long side into this major rejection point. The exact high of this candle is 15,468. I'm just going to keep it at 15,470, right? So if you can get this upside over this supply, right, this could really get interesting, right? If you could get this, if you could break this pivot, this 4-hour major rejection point, if you can start to hold above that here, then I think you definitely can see that upside continuation. That's where I would start to get aggressive, right? That's where I would start to get aggressive. 15,470. Try to see if we can get above this 4-hour high. If we can, right, that's where you can try to set up that next long. Either that, right? Either that, or, which I would like more, I would like this long more than I'd like that upside, that break and hold over 470. I would love this, right? This would be a beautiful long opportunity. Pull back to that 260, hold that previous high, start to curl off this, enter some longs down here, stop under 260, and then see if that thing can go back higher. That would be something I'd be interested in. So I hope this makes sense here, guys, right? I hope you sort of see what I'm talking about, right? I want to see either, these are sort of my long spots. These are my 2 long spots right here, right? Or right here. These are my 2 areas that I'd be interested in entering the market long, either above 470 or back at 260. These are 2 long ideas that I'd be interested in. The only real short opportunity in my eyes here, guys, is under 260, right? You could definitely try to scalp. This supply high, but just know you're going to be battling some pretty intense dip buyers, it looks like, right? Look what happened on the downside yesterday, right? Just take yesterday for example. If you look at yesterday's move, sure, right, there was some scalp shorts, but overall, right, this thing got bought back up and is continuing higher, right, and really maintaining. So if you're gonna scalp this short high, if you're gonna short scalp this high, you better be like a profit taker, right? You get a move like that, profit's taken. So just understand that if you're gonna try to scalp this high. All right, that's my read on the NASDAQ. I'm definitely remaining bullish here until this level's broken, right? I'm definitely remaining bullish here until this level is broken, right? Until this 260 is broken, I really don't think you want to fight this move. So let's keep an eye on it. Very clear levels to be watching. Let's go to the QQQ. So QQQ, right? Same thing. It's the same thing. We go to the 4-hour chart. What are we at? Look at this QQQ level, guys. This could be big, right? Look at this 4-hour Qs level. The high of this 4-hour candle is 373.74. 373.74, right? And so if we go into the 15-minute chart, we can zoom in, right? 373.74 is the exact level we had a huge wick rejection off of yesterday and the exact level we rejected on Tuesday. So we're pushing right into it, right? So what is your concept here, right? Or what is the idea here? The idea is we're not going to long into this level, right? Because history has shown us, right? Anyone that longed into this level yesterday, didn't have too much of a, that wasn't too fun, right? Longing into this level yesterday, really not that fun, right? You don't want to be a part of that. So what do you do to avoid this, right? What do you do to avoid this? You just trade based off risk reward, right? That's all. You have risk reward in mind when you're trading. So would I want to be long into this red zone? No, right? Risk reward's not there, and the possibility of rejections is very, very possible, and that's a really painful downside rejection if you are longing into this level. So what you want to look for is, of course, a break and a hold above, right? The same way we broke and held above here, you want to wait for the break and hold above, and then you can get that confirmation for longs, right? Over that 373.74, maybe you give it 374, right? Maybe you just give it 374. But either way, if you can turn these previous highs into a support, that's your long opportunity. Where's your next long opportunity, right? I don't really like this level, so I'm going to delete it, even though it could be a level, but for now I'm going to delete it. Where's your next long opportunity? Right here, right? Here's your other long opportunity, either there, right, or here. These are your two longs that I think provide positive risk reward. Either back down to 371 for a demand hold of previous day lows, right, or a break and hold over 374 for a break and hold above these highs with a positive risk reward for longs. These are the two longs that I'd be interested in, okay? On the short side, right, I think if you can break under yesterday's lows and hold under yesterday's lows, then you probably will be able to catch a short side move, right? Right? You could probably catch a short side move if you hold under yesterday's lows. That would be my assumption as of now. If you can get a hold under that 371 on the Qs, I would assume there could be a little bit of short side play, right, if you could get that. So 371 on the Qs, that's your demand. 374, right, you could call it 374. I'm saying it's 373.75, but you could probably give it 374 if you want to be safe, right? If you want to be really safe, I'd say give it 374 and just see if you can get that clean hold over that whole number there. That's probably the safer bet, 374 to 371, right? It's about a 3-point range. And what I would want to wait for is either that break and hold above for longs or that pullback for longs. So the last thing I'm going to point out here on the Qs, right? The last thing I'll point out is this trade valid, right? Is this trade valid like the trade yesterday? It absolutely is, right? Is the short valid near 374 back into 371? Yes, it is. I would only recommend that trade for traders that are understanding of what they're doing, okay? Because if you take this trade, you better have a stop loss, okay? You better have a stop loss. Because if you take this short, right? If you take this short and you do not stop out over 374 and you refuse to take your loss, you could get stuck in a monster squeeze, right? And that is not what I would want to be part of. So if you are going to try to scalp this high and try to go against the grain here, you need to be able to accept that you're wrong. And you need to accept that if the Qs get over 374, you are in squeeze territory and you are going to get smacked if you do not have a stop loss. So that would be if you're going to try this little supply high short into 371, you better understand what you're looking at. Because that is against the grain. You're fighting the trend. It's a possible scalp. It was a scalp yesterday, but you had to make sure that you had a stop in place and understand where you need to take profits, okay? And profit taking should absolutely take place at that 371, okay? All right, let's get into the ES. Before that, we got 1 minute. Can we press the like button? If you guys are enjoying the stream so far, I would appreciate if we can press the like button. It's my first day back after the first. I think that's the first. That might be the first non-traveling day I've ever taken off, right? The first non-traveling day I've ever taken off. Usually when I take off, I'm traveling, right, for family, something along those lines. This was like the first time where I just sort of took the day off. So if you guys could press that like button for me, I'd appreciate that. All right, ES. So ES is holding very nicely, right? It still is. It's still holding very nicely. You guys can see right here, you have this 43.90 level, which was the previous highs. It held here on Tuesday. It held yesterday pre-market. We had a little bit of a move below it, right? We had a little bit of a move below it, but quickly got bought back up. And we are maintaining this 43.90 very, very nicely. All right, so if the ES is above 43.90, I do not think it's in your best interest to short into that, right? I really don't, because I just think that's a battle of a trade. I think that's a very sweaty trade. You're going against market structure, right? And it's just not the trade that I would want to get behind. Let's really quickly audible over to the SPY for jobless claims data. Let's see what that was. 217 versus 215, so pretty much in line with expectations. Is there any major reaction here? A little bit of a pump there, but we'll see how this sort of works itself out. As of right now, jobless claims in line, guys. 830 jobless claims in line with expectations. Really no movement off of it as of right now. All right, let's jump back into the ES. So ES, right? I don't think you want to be a short into 43.90, right? Because look how well that level has continued to hold. Any shorts that you take into this level are probably going to get bounced on. So you probably don't want to get involved in that short, right? And on top of even 43.90, this level down here, this 43.60, 43.70 is just, it is rock solid, right? It is rock solid. It held here, it held here, it held here. The second you even smelled, right? The second the ES even had a sniff of 43.70s, it ripped back higher. So I'm not really that fond of shorts anywhere over 43.60, right? Because look at what you're dealing with here. Look at the short, just look at the price action, right? You can read the price action and you can get an idea of what you're going to have to go through if you start taking shorts, right? Look at the short opportunities that are presenting themselves. They're very short and there's quick reversals, right? Little downside, quick reversal. Little downside, quick reversal, right? So if you are going to be a short, right, that is something you need to anticipate. So if you are going to try the shorts, you have to anticipate that this thing could move back higher against you. Am I interested in that type of trade? Not really, right? Because I know it could be sweaty. I know it could be difficult. I know that I could get a quick reversal against me, and that's really not that fun. So 43.60, 43.70, this zone has held very strong. 43.90 has held as well. Now, here's the interesting, right? This is the interesting part. This is where things get questionable. And it's right here. And it's the 4 hour, right? And this is why there should be concern of being too aggressive to the upside. This is the concern, right? And so here's that 43.60 level. You can understand why it's still holding, right? You can understand why it's still holding, right? Look at this 43.60. You have previous highs, previous major demand lows, previous highs here, right? And look at this level. Look how it curled right off that level. So here is the thing that's concerning, okay? It is right here. It is 44.20. This is going to be the level that all eyes are on. And the reason for that is you can clearly see the previous rejections here at 44.20. You can clearly see that this was the last area that the market rejected and aggressively moved lower off of. And this is the exact level that we are trading into here on the ES, right? This is the exact level that we are trading into on the ES. And this is exactly where, on top of that, right, this is exactly where, look at the volume down here. Look at the last 3 days of trading volume. The trading volume has really been decreasing this entire upside move, right? Is this negative divergence, right? Is this divergence on the market? People call this divergence, right? When you have upside in the market and downside on the volume, right? That is technically divergence. So this is going to get a little interesting, right? It's something to be just sort of keeping in your mind, right? The volume has really decreased since October on the entire market. The volume has been slowly moving lower as we've been moving higher. So I'm not saying, this is, I'm going to go full portfolio short. This is my huge short idea. I'm slamming shorts because of this volume divergence. I don't think that's what you do here. I don't think that's how you trade in general, right? I don't think making these grand ideas in trading, once in a while you'll hit some big one, right? Once in a while maybe you'll hit one of those big ones and it'll pay for, it'll be a nice win. But in general, I don't like trading with those, creating these large hypotheses. I'm not really that kind of trader. But that is something that I would be paying attention to, okay? That is something that I would just know in the back of your mind. You can also see, right, this is not just a short-term level, this 4420. Look at this 4-hour chart, right? 4420 runs here. It runs double bottom here and double top here, right? This is major, major stuff. Paul, you can go back to this. You can go back to the entire live stream. It is posted on YouTube after the live stream is complete. So, 4420, guys, that's the level, right? That is the level. That is the level that you are going to want the ES over to get some real bullish action. Until then, until you get over 4420, I think you look for pullback longs as opportunities. So, pullback longs, right? Pullback longs. I would be interested in pullback longs, right? But I am not interested in longs at 4420. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, right? I hope that makes sense. I am not interested in longs at 4420. I'm interested in pullback longs because that has really been the area that those pullbacks have presented those long opportunities. So, for me today, guys, 43.90, right? That's your demand. 43.70, that's your major demand down there. And then 44.20 is the big kahuna, right? That's the big kahuna right there. If you could get over that level and hold above it, this could get real interesting, right? This could get real interesting. So 44.20, guys, that's the level to be cautious of, all right? Let's go to SPY real quick. That level for SPY, if we go to the 4-hour chart, right, that level for the SPY is this 438. You could call it 439, right? You could call it 439, but the highs of these two wicks right here, the high of this wick right here is 438.60, and the high of this wick right here is 438.14. So where do you want to put that exact level? It's a little bit tough, right? It's a little bit tough. I'm going to keep it at that major wick high, which is at 438.60. I think the ES is cleaner in this sense, right? This is why sometimes I like to read the ES versus the SPY, because I think ES 4420 is as clean as it gets, right? That's the level, right? We know that. We can see that on the chart. SPY, a little bit more questionable about what's the exact level there, but I know it's this general area. And then on top of that, yeah, you could throw it at 439 if you want to be safe. Right? You could throw it at 439 to be safe. I would agree with that, I think that's probably a safe bet. And also, right, what is this? Right? This is that thick boy. Right? That's the thick boy. And that is the 100 SMA. So you are approaching the 439 supply, the 4420 supply, and the 100 SMA on the SPY ETF, right? So this is going to be your watch level. This is going to be where you really want the SPY to be above. You want that SPY above the 100, right? You make a checkpoint for yourself. SPY above 100 SMA, SPY above 439, ES above 4420. If I get those three to line up, right, then I could probably look for that long, right? If I can get those three to line up, then I can probably look for that long. You guys are saying 440? Let's see. 440. See, look how, this is why sometimes, again, guys, this is why sometimes I recommend watching the futures over the ETFs, because this is a little messy back here, right? There's really not much. This is messy, right? This is messy here. This is clean. This 439. And if I sort of drag this line over, it's pretty messy over here, right? It's not perfect. And so when I look at the ES, this is pretty perfect, right? If I look at this ES future chart, look how much cleaner this 4420 is. Now, I'm not saying I'm not saying you should change what you're doing, but this 4420 on the ES futures is just a cleaner level for me to play off of, right? It's just a cleaner area for me to be watching than the SPY ETF. So that's why sometimes I favor it. So you can see there, ES 4420. That's a clean level, and that's a very easy thing to watch. SPY, I think me and you could probably go back and forth about what level it actually is, because really, it's not that clean here, right? Look at this sort of messy action at 439, 440. It's not as clean as that ES. So me and you could probably go back and forth. Is it 439? Is it 440? I don't have 100% confidence in the SPY chart as much as I do in that ES chart. But I could definitely tell you with confidence that the 100 SMA at 439 is going to have some reactions. So 439 SPY, 100 SMA, watch that, right? And then, of course, your demand steps up very nicely at the 436, all right? You guys wanted to look at the Russell? I haven't looked at the Russell in so long. This level, whatever this level is, right? Before we even zoom out, this is the first time I've looked at the Russell in probably 2 weeks. This level has been on this chart for a very long time, and we can see, look at the reactions at it, right? So these levels just continue to remain consistent. Okay, so it's this little low right here. Makes sense, right? Okay, so here's your Russell. If the Russell can hold over right here, this 17, let's call it 1720. I would say if the Russell can hold over, let's say this 1720, then I would assume you try to continue higher, right? 1720 here, 1720 here, 1720, right? It was a little bit of a cup, maybe a little cup and handle, right? And the 1720 hold here. Right, if the Russell can hold above that 1720, I would assume this can push. So 1720 would be my watch on the Russell there, guys. I think that's an important level to watch. That's this major low right here. Right, low, 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 1720, low. Right, interesting there. Inverse head and shoulder, cup and handle, whatever the hell you want to call it. Either way, it's about 1720, right? 1720. All right. All right, let's go to Tesla. So look at this wedge on Tesla, guys, right? Look at this wedge. This is interesting. Tesla has been, first of all, let's all make sure we understand the current price action on Tesla. It has been weak as hell, right? Tesla price action has been weak. When the market goes up, Tesla does not go up. And when it goes up a little bit, it gets sold into. So first of all, let's understand that about Tesla. Something is, I don't know, maybe someone, or for some reason, maybe it's just that whole solar problem, right? I think there was a lot of concern about the solar sector, etc., clean energy, all that. I don't know if that's affecting Tesla. I don't know for sure. Something is affecting Tesla. I don't really care to know exactly what it is. All I need to know to be successful trading it is understand that something is affecting it, because it has not moved higher with the market. It has not had continuation. It has not, right? It's a very weak name right now. Could that change? Absolutely, right? We know Tesla. We know there could be one day that Tesla just rockets higher and the whole type of momentum just shifts. So is that possible? Yes, it is. But as of right now, right, the weakness is clearly there. You're in this very clear wedge. You had these highs, these lows, right? And you're just sort of getting tight in this wedge. This 219 to 220 area, right, is really that area you should be watching. This 219 to 220 is the area that it just keeps gravitating towards, right? Any upside gravitates back. Any downside gravitates back towards this zone. So my honest opinion here, guys, is don't trade Tesla. I don't think I'll be trading Tesla because I trade with the market. So if NASDAQ is rallying higher and I'm in Tesla longs, and it doesn't move higher with the NASDAQ, which happened to me last week, I get really upset, right? It just sort of fuels me a little bit, to be honest, right? It really pisses me off that I'm long something that is not moving with the overall market because of its own individual stock problems. I don't like getting in that situation. So that's something I'm going to try to really avoid, right, over the next few trading days until I see something change. I really don't want to be like, if the ES is over 4420, it's rallying, and Tesla's moving lower, and I took a Tesla long because of that ES trade, that's going to really piss me off. So that's just the honest truth. So I'm going to stay away from that. I'm going to stay away from that idea, right? I'm going to stay away until Tesla can show that it's going to move with the overall market. Now, I would say if the market gets weak, right? If the market gets weak, then I'm sure Tesla is going to overextend itself, right, to the downside. So that is sort of something I will be interested in. If the market gets a nasty rejection some point here in the future, I think Tesla will be the one that you want to be targeting, right? Because of its overall weakness over the last few days. So I would say here's the trade that I'm sort of eyeing on Tesla, right? Here's really the trade that I'm eyeing on Tesla more than anything. It's under 215, right? Let me just give it to you straight. Under 215 is the trade that I'm really interested on Tesla. That's really it, right? That's really it. If we get under 215 on Tesla, right? If we get under these highs and we get under these lows, right? Look at this juicy gap, right? Look at that. That is juicy, right? This is straight up. And if we get under 215, right? If we get under 215, I would expect this to be straight down, right? That's where I would expect some action, under 215. Until then, I'm going to probably leave Tesla alone. Maybe 214 as well. Yeah, guys, I mean, it could be 214, 215, right? Yeah, you got to watch the zones, right? You can't, obviously, you guys, do a little bit of your own due diligence, right? Watch those general zones. But 215, 214, of course, right? If you get above that, or if you get below that level, if you start to reject this zone, right, this could go straight to 205. And that is really the interesting trade for me. Until that, right, I'm not that fond yet of longing this thing because of what I've seen over the last few days on Tesla, right? Just overall general weakness versus the market. Now, if Tesla gets over that 226, this high here, then sure, maybe it does continue. Right, but for now, I'm gonna watch 215, and right when I make sure you guys know when I bring up these levels, you are thinking both ways because I'm thinking both ways as well. Even if I don't bring it up, if I forget to say it, right, I'm thinking both ways as well. Could Tesla be a fantastic long off 215? Yeah, absolutely. Right, that could be a sick long opportunity as well. If you hold that 214, 215. That could be a great long. So I'm thinking both ways off all these levels. Sell, member for 1 month. Thank you, man. I don't know, man, woman. Thank you, my friend. I'll say my friend. Thank you, Sell. Appreciate that. Thanks for supporting the stream. All right. Holy shit, Nvidia. Holy shit, Nvidia, man. I mean, this might send it here, man. Is this all-time highs? Yeah. I mean, this could send it. Right, ever since, remember this gap up on Tesla, or I'm sorry, on Nvidia? You guys remember this? This was an insane time period. This was what, back in May? Huge move on Nvidia. It has not given that up, right? It has not given that up. It has elevated. It has stayed elevated over 400 beautifully. Is this gonna send? Right? Look at this. Look at this 4-hour chart. 475 is really. I'm going to delete some of these levels because at this point, they're just sort of making my chart messy. 480? Yeah, 480. Let's be smart. Let's be cautious, right? 480. Right there. Right there. 480, 480, right? 480, 480, 480 right here. Yeah, so a lot of 480s. Okay. So, 480, right? That's your level. Over 480, you're going, right? I think that's where you start to really go, right? Over 480, I would not be surprised to see 5, right? Over 480, you probably reach towards this supply high up here, right? Over 480, you probably reach for this supply high right here, and that's 500. So, 480, are we going to see that break today? You might, right? You might. You might. If you can get that 480 hold, right? If you can get that 480 break and that hold, right? This could be a trade, right? Watch that 480 today. Would I be chasing the hell out of Nvidia this morning if you're not already in it? No, guys, right? No, that's not how you trade, right? Where was the trade yesterday? It was probably the sexiest trade of the day yesterday. And I know Chef called it out. I know you're part of it, Chef. I mean, can you see what happened here, right? First person to say it, you get a GG in the chat. You get a smack on the ass. What was the trade yesterday, right? What was the trade yesterday? On Nvidia. Where is the break and retest? It is clear as it can be. It's a perfect entry point if you were paying attention to it, right? I'll wait for it. Press the like button. 462. Yep. Joe, that's it. 462. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Look at this. Previous day high. Previous day high. Nvidia gets above, pulls back, holds. Gets above, pulls back, holds, right? Look at these holds above the previous day high. That is gorgeous action, right? That is structure. That is market structure, right? That is a structural move above the previous high, turning previous highs into support. That is exactly what you're looking for upside opportunity. And that is exactly what Nvidia did. So, right? So, what should this tell you? Wow, we are so behind schedule, but I think we've talked about a lot of good things today. What should this tell you as a trader, right? What should this tell you as a trader? As a trader that is patient, that is actually focused on risk reward, that is not just focused on chasing every goddamn thing on the market, this should tell you, hey, I missed the good long opportunity. I missed where I should have been in this trade. I should have been long on the break and retest of previous day highs. And I missed this long, right? I can accept that myself. I missed this long, right? I didn't whip my shares, but, right, I missed this long as a options trade. And I cannot just walk into today and just start chasing the shit out of Nvidia because I missed this long, right? That is not something I can allow myself to do as a trader, right? Maybe you can make some money chasing Nvidia today, but I can tell you that mindset, what we just talked about missing the longs, staying patient, is going to serve you a whole lot better than just coming into every day trying to chase what's moving higher. So today, what am I looking for, right? I'm looking for pullbacks, right? Pull back to previous day highs, maybe a little pullback to 470, 469, bam. That's where I'll look to long, right? That's where I'll look to long this thing. On a pullback to around this 470, 469 level, right? That's my long interest. And then 480 is my supply, all right? All right, we got to go real quick speed round. Speed round, we're running out of time, but I think we went over some real good things so far today. I hope you guys are, that's just a lesson in itself right there, guys, right? It's how you think about your trades. How do you mentally think about your trades to yourself? It's a very important thing, right? Running that analysis, that thought process through your head before you just start buying things, right? You need to think about what you missed. Where was the positive entry? Where was the entry that people that are waking up this morning up a shitload of money, like Chef, right? Chef's already in Nvidia. He's already up a shitload because he took the right entry, right? Are you just going to wake up today and start railing Nvidia calls, right? Because it's up this morning. No, right? That's not a trading strategy, right? That's not a trading strategy. I don't care if that's something you can make money on, right? I don't care, right? Someone may walk back in this live stream tomorrow and say, oh, I made money chasing Nvidia yesterday. Sure, man, right? Congratulations. Do I think that I'll outperform you over the next 4 years of trading? Absolutely, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. So, sometimes you have to give away some of those short-term, those emotional gains to really stay consistent as a trader. AMD 113. As long as AMD is over 113, it's holding, right? Look at this hold. Break and retest of these highs, 113. Watch AMD 113 today. Very interesting watch there. Google's in a gap, right? Google's in this gap fill. Here's the level I'd be watching if you're watching Google here today. I'd be watching 134, okay? 134, right? 134, that's a previous high here. That's the level I'd be watching on Google today, guys. 134. All right. So keep an eye on that. The reason this is gold is because this is the gap, right? The reason I have this gold is because this is the gap on Google, which we're trading in right now. But I would watch 134 on Google today. Amazon. I really like Amazon's chart, but I'm waiting for a pullback, right? Where do I want to pull back on Amazon? I want to pull back right here to 140.7. If I can get a pullback here, I would look for longs. Why is that? Because this is a previous high, and if I can get this to pull back to that previous high, I'm going to look for a long opportunity. So Amazon right now is a no trade, right? Amazon right now is a no trade, right? Because you have 143.70, you have 140.7, right? This is a channel, this is a no trade, but I would say wait for this pullback to potentially long, or wait for this push to potentially short, or of course, right, the break and holds above. Break and holds above, break and holds below, right? But as of right now, a little bit of patience on Amazon, but I do like this structure, right? I like this structure. I just want to get a long closer to 141, 140.7. Microsoft. I want to point out this major level Microsoft's moving into. Okay, this is this high right here. Hold on. So you have this high. It's actually above it right now, isn't it? 362. Yeah, it is above it. Okay. So really, right? What's the next level on Microsoft? It's this high up here, right? This is 366.80. So if I go to the 15-minute chart, 366.80, I'm going to watch 364 today. All right, I'm going to watch 364 today because that's yesterday's highs. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. But the real high is up here at 364.80. I'm sorry, 366.80. My bad. Maybe you just call it 367, right? Is that all-time highs? That might be all-time highs. Yeah, so 364-hour chart. Yeah, all-time highs right here, 366.78. 366.78 all-time highs. Let's just call it 367. All right, I think we call it 367. That's going to be your major level above. 367 all-time highs. What do I want on Microsoft to take a long? Right? I want this. Right? This is a nice long. Right? What was the beautiful long on Tuesday? So this is what Microsoft has shown me what it likes to do. Look at this long on Tuesday of this week. All right? Look at this long on Tuesday of this week. Right here. Break. Retest. Retest of what? Retest of previous highs. Major long opportunity. What happened here? Break. Retest. Retest of this morning high. Beautiful long opportunity. So what am I looking for, right? I want that same long opportunity on Microsoft. I don't want to chase it at the highs. I don't want to enter calls at the highs, right? Who made money entering Microsoft calls at the highs? No one. Who made money entering calls on Microsoft on the pullbacks? Everyone, right? So what am I going to look for? Pullback, hold that demand, enter that potential long, and see if this thing can continue its ride higher. So that's going to be my watch today. This pullback to around 360. I don't know if we're going to get it, right? I don't know if we're going to get that, but that would be an interesting level to watch. All right, guys, it's 9 o'clock. I apologize. We got a little bit behind schedule today, but I think we went over some good concepts. Really, all that matters here, guys, at the end of the day, the biggest thing to pay attention to, which is what we spend our most time on every here in the live stream, is the futures, right? So NASDAQ, you got to watch that 15,470. And on the ES, what are we watching? It's the 4420, right? That's the big kahuna today. 4420, if we can get that break, that could be, that could bring the bulls out, man. It could bring them out. Bring them out, bring them out. So 4420, guys, keep an eye on that level. Either we reject that thing pretty aggressively or we get that break and hold. That's going to be the watch pretty much to the end of week into next week. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys today. I'm going to do better at not letting things work me up in the chat. That's going to be something I focus on to provide better content for you guys. Once in a while, we'll let the New Yorker out in me. But I'm gonna try my best to not get worked up about it, because at the end of the day, that it's just not even worth my time, right? You guys say it, and I agree too. So thank you guys again. We kept it real Florida today. We kept it real Southern. We didn't get Northeastern today. We didn't get Northeastern. If some days we get out the Northeast, man. Sometimes we get out to Boston, to New York, to Philadelphia. And today, not so much. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you guys could, press that like button. If you want to trade live with me every day, that is down in the description. You can check that out. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.